Welcome, children of all flavors. This is a Black-Matician quick lesson video, and it's going to be all about rational numbers.
1, 2, 3.
It's the Black-Matician. 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 That's me. Alright, first things first, what is a rational number? So a rational number is a number that can be written as a over b, where a and b are integers and b cannot be 0. This equal sign with the line through it is cannot. It does not equal. So b cannot be 0. And when I say a over b, I mean written as a fraction, right? So a rational number is a number that can be written as a fraction, where both the numerator and the denominator are integers, but the denominator cannot be 0. An example of this would be 3 over 4. That's a rational number. Another way to have a rational number is as a decimal, and there are two types of decimals. A terminating decimal is a decimal that ends, like 1.5, negative 0.25, 10.325. Those are all terminating decimals. The other one is a repeating decimal. A repeating decimal is a decimal that has a pattern that repeats. So examples of that would be like 1.33333333, and so on and so on. And instead of writing 1.333333, we're just going to write 1.3 with this bar above it. That bar tells us that that digit is going to repeat over and over again. All right, let's get into some examples. Example 1, write -2 and 1/4 as a decimal. Okay, so the first thing that I would do is turn this mixed fraction into an improper fraction. And the way to turn mixed fractions into improper fractions is to take the denominator, multiply it by the whole number, and then add the numerator. I know that seems kind of strange, but give me 1 second. We're going to take the denominator, so 4, multiply it times the whole number, and then we're going to add the numerator. I'm going to put parentheses so we don't just do everything all at once. We have 4 times -2, so we're multiplying two integers with different signs. So our answer is going to be negative, and that gives us a -8 plus 1. Now we're adding two integers, and remember we're going to add and keep the bigger sign. 8 is bigger than 1, so whatever our answer is going to have to also be negative, and then we're just going to add our integers. So we're going to do 8 plus 1, and that gives me 9. So our new numerator for our improper fraction is going to be a -9, and we're going to keep the denominator as 4. So we turned our mixed fraction into an improper fraction. Now, the way to turn this into a decimal is to divide 9 by 4. So the question is, how many 4s fit into 9? And I know that the answer is negative, but for right now, I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm just going to do the division. So how many 4s fit into 9? So 4 into 9, I can fit two groups of 4 into 9. 2 times 4 is going to be 8. We're going to subtract that and bring down a 1. 4 does not go into 1, but I can add more zeros to our 9 to get a deeper look at the number 9. So I'm going to put a decimal and add maybe 3 more zeros. And whatever decimal you put down here, you have to also put up there, so that shows that our answer is going to be a decimal answer. Since 4 does not go into 1, we can drop down a 0 and ask ourselves how many groups of 4 fit into 10. Again, the answer is going to be 2, because 2 times 4 is 8. So we're going to subtract once again and bring down the next 0. How many groups of 4 fit into 20? That's going to be 5. 5 times 4 is also 20. And when I subtract that, I get 0. Because I reached a 0, I can stop there. So when I converted -2 and 1/4 into -9 over 4, the decimal is going to be 2.25. But remember that our answer was negative. So our final answer is going to be -2.25. The next one says write 5 over 11 as a decimal. So we don't even have to do all these steps here because they already gave it to us as a proper fraction. So the question is, how many groups of 11 fit into 5? I already know that 11 does not fit into 5, so I'm going to go ahead and add some extra zeros and make this into a decimal. So, how many groups of 11 fit into 5? The answer is 0. So I'm going to do 0 times 11, which is 0, and subtract, I will get 5. When I bring down that 0, now the question is how many 11s, group of 11, fit into 50? And that answer is going to be a 4. 4 times 11 is 44. And because I'm running out of space, I'll move this over here. 4 times 11 is 44. When I subtract that, I'm going to get a 6. And then I'm going to bring down a 0. And I'm just going to put a little break in here. Bring down a 0. The question is how many groups of 11 fit into 60? The answer is 5. 5 times 11 is 55. So when I subtract, I'm going to get a 5. We did have another 0, so I'm going to bring that down. And now we're back where we started. How many groups of 11 fit into 50? The answer is 4. 4 times 11 is 44. When you subtract that, you're going to get a 6. And then we had one more 0. And it looks like we are repeating the same pattern that we started with. So the answer to this question is write 5/11ths as a decimal. That answer is going to be 0.4545, but you can also write 0.45 with the repeating bar over it. Let's do another example. Example number 2, write negative 0.26 as a fraction in simplest form. Okay, so the good thing about this is when we're reading decimals, I know that this is going to be the tens place, and the 6 is going to be the hundredth place. Since the 6 is our last digit, that means that I can write this entire decimal as a fraction over 100 because 6 is in the hundredth place. Don't worry so much about the negative just yet. Let's just write this as a fraction. So 26 over 100. I knew to do 26 because 26 is after the decimal and the last digit is in that hundredth place. They said it was negative, so there's our negative. Now, we did write it as a fraction, but they wanted it in simplest form. So what we're going to do is have to find a common factor between 26 and 100. And when I say factor, I mean what number do I multiply 26 by, and can I multiply 100 by, that's the same for both digits. I'm going to go with 2 because they're both even numbers. And if I were to divide the numerator and the denominator by 2, basically I'm saying negative 26 divided by 2. I know my answer is going to be negative because I'm dividing by 2 different signs. And then when I cut 26 into 2 pieces, I'm going to get 13 pieces in each group. And then 100 divided by 2 is going to be 50. I cannot reduce this fraction anymore. This is simplest form, and you just leave it just like that. And that's everything you need to know about rational numbers. Calculator. Coronavirus got you sitting on the couch watching TV and your life's passing you on by. You're thinking, well, maybe I'll go to school next year or maybe next semester. No, do it right now. I'll work with you whenever you want. You can watch me before you turn on the PlayStation and after you turn on the PlayStation. Whatever you need to do to graduate. Go subscribe right now. I'm out here to help you. You spend all day on your phone anyway. Might as well subscribe to a channel that's going to help you in your future. All you got to do is pick up the phone and subscribe. Why are you making this so complicated? It's easy. Matter of fact, I'm going to subscribe to my own channel right now.